friends and mimosas. Yeah, it's gonna be bubbly kind of time. Join new friends to relax and unwind. The best food with drinks on the side. Cheers to the good times. It's friends and mimosas.
To get Pooche. Where
I am.
Were you always Pooch?
I would always Pooch since I would say maybe 6, 7 years old.
Okay.
The kids around my neighborhood. I grew up in Mid City on Cleveland Avenue, Carrollton and Canal. The kids in my neighborhood just they always would say, "You're loyal like a dog. You're the Pooch. You're a Pooch."
Oh my goodness.
It could have been as I was like following the older kids around. This kind of dog, kind of thing. But I just got that it was Poochie for a long time. It still is to a lot of people.
Oh, cute.
Poochie. But as I got older, I was just kind of like, I can't be Poochie.
Let's drop the E.
Let's drop the E. So it's just Pooch. But my real name is Sean Rivera.
Do you rather Pooch or Sean?
I kind of rather Pooch.
Okay.
So only bill collectors and my wife call me Sean.
And I'm sure, is that when she's mad at you? Or?
No, it's all the time.
Okay, all the time. Okay.
When you started this, did you anticipate that it was going to expand into what is happening now?
It's a very good question, and I ask myself the same thing, because sometimes I don't want to sound pompous in my answers to say that I always knew this would happen, but at least that's the lie I told myself. And that's what got me up in the morning, you know, like, to keep pushing and doing it. So I guess, I don't, as far as podcasts and all these things like that, I'm extremely blessed. And I was unfortunate things to have lost both my parents when I was very young, but I feel like they're guiding me.
Absolutely.
So it's just it just every day is a blessing. Sometimes I have to pinch myself. I literally have to pinch myself, like this, not even wake up to do it, just wake up, is this real? Because some of the phone calls I get and just with opportunities, and it's just crazy.
So when did you open your first restaurant?
First restaurant, let's see.
You have many, right?
Oh, I'm partners in many.
Okay.
So that's not that I am have many. But yes, I guess I have many.
If you're a partner.
So the first one started a place called Oscar's Pizza in Baton Rouge, and that was really fun. It really taught me. It was simple, it was pizza, you know, and it was something that I knew that I could do, and I knew we invented things. It's funny, I saw on TikTok the other day there was a thing everybody's passing around. It's called the gumbo pizza. We invented the DNA gumbo pizza.
Really?
20 years ago. If that was 20 years, probably about 20 years ago.
The gumbo
It's DNA, so it's duck and andouille.
Thank you so much.
Duck breast and andouille sausage, but it has a gumbo base rather than a marinara base. And we did everything that basically would be in a duck and andouille gumbo. We put on a pizza.
Wow.
And then top with it with braised leeks and whatnot. And that was. It's funny that comes around now, and I see that, and it's like, wait a minute, I know we invented that thing. So from there was like my first taste of being able to do that, and then I had a great offer to buy it, and someone sold it, and that was my great taste of being able to, I don't know about celebrate with the fruits of my labor, but be able to see that I can turn a profit and make things off of the fruits of my labor.
And do you still cook?
I do still cook. So I'm partners in Wrong Iron on the Greenway, the kitchen. So that's usually where I spend a lot of my days, just because of the volume.
That's outside.
Correct.
It is outside, but the kitchen is like ironically, it was never, the intention was always to bring food trucks in. But according to the political climate of when COVID was going on, you had to have, in the city of New Orleans, you had to have a kitchen in order to be a bar, because you had to be a restaurant. So it was good because it was open air, so we could fulfill all the requirements of COVID. But at the same time, we kind of had to piece meal kitchens and put things together. So it's a kitchen that is really not designed for volume, that we do volume on.
So do you have any advice to people that want to open their own business, that are kind of hesitant, or?
Be ready to devote your entire life to it. And the minute it starts getting good is the minute you have to start pushing even harder, because it will fall off in a second. And people always enjoy loving to see the new guy and check him out and talk about it and all that stuff. But in this town with 1,500 restaurants, you're old news in 2 weeks. So it really is, about locations such as here in the Wandering Goat, being around a great demographic of people who have great incomes and bring bring good money in town, being in a safe place. And so it's really about making strategic moves these days. I really truly believe that I hate to say it this way, but there's a sucker born every minute. Mm-hmm. And that's the way you profit off of restaurants, is that someone's going to come and spend all this money and they're not going to do well. And then you're going to come back and get it pennies on the dollar, and that's when you do well. Yeah. Because you're getting everything that's brand new, or, they fresh paint, coat of paint, all these different things. And it's a vicious cycle. But I mean, just how people flip houses because of other people's misfortunes, defaults, loan, whatever it is. It's the same thing with restaurants in a way. It's just this climate has a lot of good restaurateurs, so it's really a chess game. Yeah. It's almost a game of Monopoly, and that's how my partners, my close partners and I, we do things is we really figure it out. We want those boardwalks, but can we afford the boardwalk? There's a lot of different. Thank you so much. A lot of different variables to everything, and.
I'm good.
To be honest, the way I've gotten through all this, and I still have a long way to go, is really just putting my head down and not really worrying and dedicating time to all the things that I can't really control. It's like what I can control is making sure that this plate is the best thing that person can eat right now. And in this day and age, to me, that's really the core, because it's always been the core that your customers get the best food. But now, if it doesn't, everybody's going to pull their camera out. Everybody's going to talk about it. I'm here right now. All these different things. So it isn't, that's the paramount. That's the most, to me at least, the most important thing to do is just put your head down and dedicate yourself to every meal. Hey, we're producers for National Geographic. We told you were the guy that could find us chefs. We want to find one chef, and we want to have, but give us 5 that we can choose from, and because we want to do a TV show on the difference between Cajun and Creole. Mm-hmm. So if you can kind of go out there and vet these people for us and da-da-da. So I was like, okay, cool. So we met at NOLA Brewery. They flew in town, and we met at NOLA Brewery on Tapatulas. I remember every time I pass, I remember this moment. I still have to pinch myself then. It's like, that's so crazy that this happened. And I'm sitting there, and I have a notebook, and I'm like, this guy XYZ, and this guy XYZ, and this, that, the other, and the difference between this, that, the other. And I looked at him, and they're like, Sean or Pooch, like, you're the chef. And I'm like, no way. I'm like, no, you're the chef. That was just that kind of. I don't want to say it changed my life, because it put a lot more stress and strain on my life. But it was a blessed opportunity, and like just to be on National Geographic and all things.
Like gumbo is good, as y'all let on to be, because over that fire, I was like, that doesn't look good.
Well, it was. Gumbo is a one-pot cooking.
Did you see it?
It's usually a black pot. I cooked that gumbo. So
you cooked it?
Yeah, you can kind of tell in the thing. I'm the one chopping it up, putting it all.
Was it good over the fire?
It was good. It was more like a sauce piquant than it was a gumbo.
It
was
didn't
thick.
look like a gumbo.
It was good. It had all the flavor profiles of a gumbo.
What about the alligator?
Yes. It was my family farm and Timo's farm. Monica is my cousin. Okay. And if you ever get a chance to go out there, that is really fun.
Their boudin does look good.
Their boudin is really good.
Was it good smoked?
It's way better smoked. And because of normal, in my opinion, as a New Orleanian, I know that's a West Louisiana thing. But they either steam it or they boil it. Normally. Yes. Smoke gives it a really good flavor profile. And now people are kind of doing. I don't think since that, but there's other people that are doing it.
We grill ours. We put ours on the grill. It's pretty good.
I agree. That's my favorite thing. I'm kind of. I want to say a boudin connoisseur now, but I'm addicted to boudin. Like if there's boudin in there, I'm going to go eat it. T. Moise. Moise is the French name for Moses. Oh, okay. So it's T. Moise.
And where is it located?
It's located in Sunset, Louisiana, which is about 15 to 20 minutes north of Lafayette. Okay. So you guys should do a podcast there one time. I can definitely set that up. Okay, because we would love to do a dinner there.
Let's do it.
I would love to do it.
It's done.
Yeah, it's done. On your Instagram, when you go to Foodie Patootie, am I pronouncing that correctly? You have so many collaborations or things you're involved in. Why are you promoting others? Because you have your Why do you feel a calling, I guess? Or
It is my calling. So when I first, shout out to Eating Nola. And Eating Nola at the time was Anthony Dezette. He passed it down to another gentleman. But he and I did Eating Nola and Foodie Patootie on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
And at the time, I had like 180,000 followers on Foodie Patootie. And what I would do was just advocate people. I knew my oldest daughter, I call her Cutie Patootie. Not so much anymore, but when she was a little girl, I did. And so I'm walking around the house saying, I need to find a name or something.
Yeah.
And this is kind of when social media was just coming out, and like, maybe I need to get a name or something, da-da-da. And I'm like, Foodie something, Foodie. And she's like, Foodie Patootie. And I'm like, that's what we're rolling with.
Yeah.
So at the time, Anthony was telling me, man, Instagram is where it's at. That's where it's going to be the next thing. You know, and I'm like, no, man, Twitter, this is where it's at, you know, Twitter. And because I accomplished so much on Twitter, I didn't want to believe him. And and he's like, no, man, you need to go on Instagram and da-da-da. And he's like, how about we do this? He's like, how about you take Foodie Patootie, since it's your daughter's name, you take that and you run with that. And I'm going to take Eating Nola and I'm going to run with that. And I said, okay, let's do that. So we did. So I started developing the Instagram following as well. But what I would do is I would just reach out to chefs and other people and say, hey, let me promote your food. And I would, I would do like hashtags like food porn certified, Foodie Patootie certified, all these things. People started sending me stuff like, hey man, can you put mine on there?
Wow.
Be certified and da-da-da. So I started doing that. It became a big thing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I got my roots, was helping people out. So I always want to advocate other people.
Okay.
9 times out of 10, what's on my page is usually where I'm eating, not what I've cooked. And I'm all my life, I've kind of just want to I just help people out. You know, like I got a big heart, and I don't, and I'm not afraid to use it. You know, like that's where I think my true calling is helping people and really promoting the city.
Well, we can definitely feel your heart.
Yes,
you can feel it.
Yep.
And you want
It's
to
the
plug?
cycle.
I do. I want to give shout out to Chef Frank Simoncioni of Old Time New Orleans. He has recently gave me the rights to utilize the name Old Time New Orleans.
Nice.
He's passing me the torch.
Ooh, that's good.
And that's a really, really great name. He's been through litigation and fought people who wanted to use the name, so it's his, tried and true. And when you have so many people that want to use that, it shows that it's something that's valuable. And just that we're getting into this modern age. Like, the things that we mostly appreciate and adore out of New Orleans are the old time things, not so much the new age stuff. And so I'm very appreciative of him, and I want to promote that. We also, today is our grand opening of Coma Arepas. Coma means to eat. Arepas is a street Venezuelan food, street sandwich. Shout out to Mas Arepas, who started that trend here. Okay. It is a culture that I grew up eating and being a part of. My household was Venezuelan as a child, and I do. And it was just something that I've always wanted to do. And a cousin of mine approached me with the idea, and I said, let's do it. We were blessed to be able to have a location on Maple Street, which is where I kind of seasoned myself. After Barreca's, I went to Maple Street Cafe and was the chef de cuisine there for 5 years.
Nice.
Next door to Maple Street is kind of crazy, because next door to Maple Street is where my father met my mother at a restaurant there, and Maple Street Cafe is where I met my first wife. So I have a lot of ties to Maple Street, and it was great to be able to have a great location on Maple Street.
Nice.
So that's going to be something that we're opening today.
Wow,
and then this will tell you
congratulations.
how God works, how energy works, how everything works. I got a phone call from our landlord there on Maple Street saying, hey man, love what you're doing, yada, yada, yada. Why don't you come check out this piece of property that's for lease, that just became for lease on Carrollton? And I'm like, okay, well, what is it? He's like, it's the old Monkey. I'm like, that's my great-grandfather's pharmacy.
Wow.
So I'm having, knock on wood, the deal goes through, I'm able to go back into what was my great-grandfather's at a time. And
Okay, you're getting goosebumps.
Tears. So this is real goosebumps. I mean, I literally was in tears in the car. Business, and I found that romance of seeing the money being exchanged for food and stuff like that. Was when I was a kid, one of my best friends, his name was Michael Pavellini, and we went to St. Anthony together, and he lived downstairs of his grandparents owned Manuel's Hot Tamales. They started Manuel's Hot Tamales.
Okay.
So I would hop the fence and go down there and roll tamales with them. And then I saw the money being exchanged through the window, and I was like, it was like this this romance, for it. And I was like, man, it really, when I go back to it, it sparks that. And that was on that block. And then, kudos to the gentleman's name. I don't know who he is, but he was the first person to introduce Arabic food to New Orleans. It was a place called Jerusalem. And that was there where my great-grandfather's pharmacy was.
Oh, okay.
So he was there, and I would go try food there. And I would try different things.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I really love this food. It's very similar to Latin American food in a way, but like done differently, and all of the above. And that was my first taste of Arabic food, and specifically Palestinian food. Now I have a modern Palestinian restaurant called Saj on Magazine Street. So like those are my roots right there with the industry.
Wow.
And I'm blessed to be able to have it come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations.
So crazy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
crazy. Thanks,
What do you do on your time off? And if you ever get time off.
Yeah.
My kids are first and foremost.
How many kids?
I have 3 kids.
Okay.
3 kids.
Ages?
16, 11, and
2.
Bless your heart.
and 2.
Okay.
The 2-year-old is really who keeps me going.
Oh, I bet.
I got to.
Yeah.
Because I got to keep
I
trucking.
bet it's, do you like being an older parent or a younger parent?
It's a trick question.
It's a difference.
This day and age, I'll tell you, my 16-year-old, who's really, really a good girl and innocent and head's always in the books and doesn't, really pay attention to like the crap that goes on in the world. Or she does, but she doesn't. She's not really influenced by it.
Right.
At least that I know of. She could be a great actress. But that's the anxiety comes with that. 16.
Yep.
I know the stuff I was doing at 16.
Yep.
And especially in this town, we were 15 years old on Bourbon Street. Like the last thing I ever wanted to do was be on Bourbon Street. So it's tough. My youngest daughter really helps me still understand like what youth is and that it helps me want to keep my longevity and and all that. I look at the fact that like when she's 18 I'll be 60, and it's like whoa, like those are things that I have to reality.
Do you have more patience now than you did before?
I think I do, and that makes me feel guilty because you learn so much with every kid, and you learn so much, and you realize that it's a double-edged sword because like some of the times that I didn't experience with my kids because I was busting my ass working, it's like, but like they're gonna reap the benefits of that, So I hope they understand. I think they will.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Sometimes it's tough, but we do fun things like, for instance, this weekend coming up, we will be in Crew of Boo on the Weez float, and that's another partnership that I'm proud of.
We need to ask you about the Cheewies.
Weez is a very close friend of mine from Old Metairie. Grew up in Old Metairie together. Ben Elmer, his grandfather actually, invented the cheese curl. So Weez invented the cheese curl in 1948.
Okay.
Sold the rights to utilize it to Frito-Lay. So Frito-Lay has the Cheeto, that's really the cheese. Frito-Lay chooses to not acknowledge that, but we have the paperwork. So paperwork proves everything. But so within that, Ben, who is the son, is going to take over the reins. And Ben and I have been close for a number of years, and he just saw what I was doing, advocating stuff like that. So he's like, "Hey, come on here. I want to put you on the board and like help us make decisions on like where we need to go, and help him make decisions. Not too much decisions, but like he considers me his consigliere. Like I'm his counsel whenever we go anywhere, and this is my advisor. Kind of a scenario, and we really work well together. And we've been able to do. We're doing a. This month coming up, just November 5th, it just passed. But this is the 25th year anniversary of Back That Ass Up at 400 Degrees, the Juvenile album. And he's getting a resurgence right now, being on NPR and doing all these different things on Tiny Desk on NPR. And he's really building his career back. So we approached them saying, why don't we do this flavor? And they're all for it. And so we're doing the How Hot 400 Degrees hot.
my cousin and I have a coffee plantation
You
in
have all
Honduras. I have
kinds
so
of
much crap going on. I don't even know how I do it.
Oh my gosh.
A coffee plantation in Honduras. I'm honored for my cousin to make me a part of that because it's really his. But it's
So
called Monte
is
Vista
it
Coffee.
partnerships or you're just promoting for him?
Partnerships in no, my cousin for this. I don't want to say it's it is a partnership between Fruity Patootie and Chee,
Okay.
but I am pretty much, Ben and I are the future of that.
Oh, the coffee.
The coffee, he is my cousin. It's a family thing.
Okay.
He was the one. I guess we'd say it's a partnership because
Okay.
we're building new brands. For instance, the Old Time New Orleans is going to be a coffee brand as well.
Nice.
Those type of things. We're kind of just intertwining everything, so it makes sense to partner on things.
Yeah.
Because if I have this entity that you need, you have what I need.
Right.
Let's, especially.
Complement each other.
Well, I don't want to gloss over the iconic
Let's
nature
open some
of
up.
Chee Weez because
That was
Chee
like-
Weez is like, man, that just brings me back to Parker Street. Like,
Chee Weez is still New
Thank you,
Orleans.
Chee Weez.
It's going to stay New Orleans, and we're going to keep it New Orleans.
Barbecue French onion, I'm good. The jalapeno too, but barbecue French onion, oh.
Those are the ones, yeah.
Yeah,
Those are
yeah,
definitely the ones.
yeah.
It's an iconic thing. It represents so much of New Orleans, and it's been getting swept under the rug a lot.
What's your favorite? Which one is your favorite flavor?
Oh yeah, I'm showing the camera and I'm putting it in my purse.
Shout out to Alan Elmer, who came back after Katrina, and that is the gentleman who runs the organization, Ben's father. And shout out to all of Alan's brothers as well. But Alan really came back and had the heart and fortitude to start that up after 13 feet of water. And
Wow.
Banks telling him, like, this is a lost cause, this is, why are you even trying to do this? And he's brought it back almost 20 years later. And it is an iconic New Orleans thing, and I love it so much. I'm not in the kitchen, so keep going. Please. I sit here all day
Did
with
we
y'all.
plug everything? We got your Chee Weez, your coffee.
Monte Vista Coffee.
It is good too.
You see, I
My
was on
cousins
the way.
Andrea and Juan, I love them to death. They're newlyweds. They just got married last month.
Okay.
Yeah, last month. So shout out to them. They are strong people that are very smart and business minded, and they're going to go a long, long way. Shout out to Fatima McBell. She holds it down for me. She's good people. Love her very much. And shout out to my kids.
Yeah. You ready to play a game?
Sure.
Okay.
Would you like to play a game? It's Friday the 13th. You gotta put
Oh, Lord.
If you watch some of our shows, you know we do Would You Rather.
I do remember that.
Okay.
And that scares me.
First one I'm going to ask you, would you rather Halloween or Mardi Gras?
Oh. That's an easy one for me.
I'd rather Mardi Gras as a kid, but I'd rather Halloween now.
Okay.
I like that
Mardi Gras as a
answer.
kid was, of course, everything's so brighter and bigger and when you're a child, but it was just truly Mardi Gras. Nowadays I'm like, let's see if we can go skiing now. Let's see if we can get out of here.
But Mardi Gras is everything I've always loved about the city rolled into one. But I think I kind of feel like you. Mardi Gras when I was young. I go to it now just for the nostalgia, not necessarily for what it is right now, but Halloween all the way. Yeah.
We know you.
Yes.
even though Mardi Gras can be scary too, though.
No. So you guys, I don't do Halloween because I would wet myself. Okay.
I don't do it either.
I don't like scary stuff. I don't like. Don't. You would never. If you have to look for Cindy Wynn, you would not find me in a haunted house. Because that's where I would not
start there.
Do not start there because you're not gonna find. I love Mardi Gras.
Okay.
So I ride Zulu every year for the past 7 years now. So it's kind of like a tradition
okay.
now.
Yeah,
That's my Mardi Gras.
You're Halloween too?
Halloween. Would you rather pineapple pizza or candy corn?
Pineapple on pizza?
Pineapple pizza or
Just
candy corn?
pineapple and nothing else on it?
You've never had pineapple?
Oh, that's
pizza?
one of my favorite things. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
People look at me, I'm
Most
blasphemous.
people hate candy corn, so it's usually
I would
Pineapple
rather
pizza.
pineapple pizza any day.
yeah.
Yeah.
Does anyone like candy
You can
corn?
kill me. I hate both of them.
You hate both of them?
Just start digging the
But
grave.
if you had to choose one.
Oh God. I hate candy corn enough that I would do the pineapple
A lot of people hate
pizza.
candy corn, but
I've never
hey,
had
it's
it, but I don't. It
okay.
doesn't
know what?
sound good.
When,
It doesn't
after
sound
you've eaten
good.
all the other candy,
and you still have that sweet tooth, I'll eat
If
it.
you chew candle wax, then you'll like
It is,
candy.
but there's
I
some
know.
people who used to eat wax. I remember as a kid, like there was like my uncles used
Didn't
to
they
love
have
wax
those
lips and
lips?
stuff. Yeah, like it doesn't even taste like anything. It tastes like wax.
Yeah.
I hate candy corn.
Next one. The next one.
Test the waters or dive in the deep end. I'm diving in the deep end.
I think I would test the water.
You test the waters?
Yep.
Like this, I dove. I took my chances. I was not testing anything. It was something I wanted to do, and I dove into it.
I don't know. I think I assess,
Yeah.
You
and sometimes I jump in, and sometimes I
I guess
test.
it depends.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you had to choose one, it's would you rather?
I'm gonna dive and see what happens.
Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna
So
dive.
I was thinking when I heard that question, because I don't know how to swim, so I can't really dive into it. That was my immediate
Well, it's-
thought. Yeah, right?
Mhm.
But then when it comes to like projects and reality, I just like Courtney, I would assess and evaluate. You know, I'm at the point where I have enough experience that I could just like, okay, what did I do well then? You know, what did I do good? Can I take that and run with it? And what extra did I have to do to make it work? Right? Yeah. So I would probably most of the time would jump and take it, run, dive into it.
You would dive, and you're testing those waters, huh?
I think we test the waters. And then, like again, that has to do with like in my youth or what I've delved into it. But these days, I think just with the variables that we're faced with, and especially like with restaurants and things like that, like the first thing on my mind is like, okay, there's another pandemic. What will we do
now?
And then so you have to kind of figure out. And I'll be those like there's a million variables that we run through before we even decide to like, do we even want to go even take a walk and look at that place? Walk through it because
Because we
like,
already
what is
know,
this, that, the other, all those different things. And so these days, I guess with a little bit more wisdom, I think test the waters.
Cooking or being cooked for? Which one would you rather?
I'd like to be cooked for. Before, I would have. I always used to enjoy doing that, like being the one to cook, and like especially for family. I'm like, I'll be the one to cook. Don't worry about it. I'll be the one to cook. And they're always trying to pull me, like, come sit down. I'm like, no, I'm almost finished. Like, I'm gonna do this, that, the other, next course or whatever. And now I'm like, no, you know what? I'm gonna smell the roses. Stop and smell the roses a little bit.
I definitely would like to be cooked for, being the master chef, and that only means the one to cook in my house. I would love to have, I got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you guys know me, I don't cook.
You don't cook, so you
No.
like to be cooked for.
Thank you.
We gotta get you to cook one time. I don't care what it is, I'll try it.
I'd
I'm
love to
daring
cook for you
enough.
guys on air though, or on a.
Oh, that would be
show.
awesome. I would love
Yes.
that.
I would like to be the one to cook. I enjoy cooking.
Really?
It's nurturing,
Yeah.
and that and a lot
That's
of-
how I show my love.
Amen. And and that's how my mother was the oldest of 6 kids, and then so I was the oldest grandchild. I was the only grandchild at one time. So my uncles were all 12, 15, and 16, and they bullied me and picked on me and what have you. So I would run to the kitchen, Mama or Mama or whoever I'm crying to, and they'd be like, "Shut up, chop this, do this." So like that's where I felt security.
That comfort,
And is being in the kitchen. So I definitely understand the cooking part.
Yeah. See the future, or would you rather change the past?
Oh my gosh.
See the future. I'd rather see the future.
Is there a reason
Yeah.
why?
Because you learn from your past, even if it was mistakes or wrong ideas or bad things. That's I think who molds me or molded me. Probably anyone molds anyone. I like to use that. It's like what we're talking about. Now I'm older and with wisdom. Like I wouldn't make the decisions based if it wasn't based upon my past. And no, I wouldn't want to change the past. I'd rather see the future.
I'm gonna change the past. Although I agree with you
I know.
that you learn from it.
Yeah.
There's just one or two things I would love to know how it turned
with
out.
you.
I do
I'll
want to
give
know.
you that too. I'll give you that.
I do want to know, but
I'm
I'm
with you.
happy. Like I said, I've learned. I think
Right.
I'm who I'm meant to be. But just one or two things I'd like to see how it
I'm
panned
with
out.
you.
I just have too many things to change. Yeah, to change the past. I'd be busy. I'd be back there forever. So then I would want to see the
Move this
future.
here.
Yeah, there was too many things. Not one or two. If it was one or two things, yeah. But I was like, oh my God, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this, I gotta
Maybe
do
you'd
that.
be cooking now.
Right. No, I want to definitely know what's the future.
I'm with Courtney. I
Yeah.
would change that.
You would change the past?
We're giving you 3 wishes. What are your 3 wishes?
Good health for me, my friends, and family. I want to include everybody in that, and everybody, including you guys and
Thank
your
you.
families.
Thank
That second will be that that there's more peace and understanding, and with everybody in the world, you know, and there's a lot of shit that's going on these days.
Yes.
And
Jeez.
I really wish sometimes people would just, you know, from a microcosm of New Orleans and the crime and you know, mortality rate with young people to international issues that we all know are going on right now. And I really wish people would just put the gun down and stop hating each other and dialogue.
Yes.
That's number 2. And number 3, I don't want to be so selfish in things.
Be selfish.
Things that win the lottery, blah, blah, blah. You know,
Be selfish.
It's free. You gave it to everybody else.
Okay, well, you know what? There was I wish this for everybody in New Orleans. There was no better feeling than to see the Saints win the Super Bowl that one time, and I'd love to see the Saints win the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
In my
Let's-
lifetime.
I
In my
let's drink
lifetime.
to that.
Cheers.
Oh, goodness.
Thank you so much for coming
Thank
to
you
be
so
with
much.
us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really
I appreciate that.
Everything was delicious.
Everything was absolutely
Shout
great.
out. Yes.
Just
Cheers.
new
Cheers.
friends.
Yes.
New friends. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Friends and mimosas, thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share just to show that you care. Friends and mimosas.